What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to the KellyCast Week 15 predictions. Let me toss up the graphic right now of your champion, Mr. Dan Kelly, and the tiebreaker, of course, me and Aaron tied, and Mike in third place for last week's predictions, excuse me. And
I was sorry. I was looking for my medal. I think I have one.
It's okay.
I have one.
In this matchup, it's one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NFL this year versus one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NFL this year. Say what you want about the Denver Broncos, Mike, but the turnaround has been immaculate.
I'm staying silent because they've closed my mouth.
Okay. About time.
I mean, I have to agree with you. I have to say it. Russell Wilson's been keeping the team together this year so far. I crapped on him early and crapped on him hard, but somehow young Russ came back to life, and he's going to make this one another exciting matchup.
You know where I want to be silent? I want to be silent for the Detroit Lions. After losing a stinker to the Chicago Bears last week. Why, man? Why can't you do it, Detroit? Just win, baby. Just win. You have a better team.
Way better. Like, eons better. I don't understand. The Bears can't get out of their own way half the time. And Detroit is such a powerhouse.
It came down to the 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions thrown by Goff, and a fumble lost as well, led to the 28-13 final score last week in favor of the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos went out and beat the Chargers, scored 24-7. Of course, Justin Herbert got hurt in that game, and Easton Stick had to come in and relieve him. You just mentioned, Mike, you mentioned off camera. Seems like all these AFC teams are 7-6, and that's because most of them are. Most of them are in that range. But how about the fact that if Denver wins and Kansas City loses, we could be looking at the Broncos to take the AFC West crown?
I'm ready to jump on the Broncos bandwagon. Right now.
Hey, Nick did it about 10 years ago when Peyton Manning went into town.
Okay.
Nick jumped on the Broncos bandwagon. So I think that's allowed. But I really want to believe in these Lions. I think they're so good on paper. They just can't figure it out. They need to get back on track here, because if they don't, they're going to find themselves falling down and down in the seeding department. Obviously now at 9-4, it's not a bad place to be. But you really need to start winning some of these games.
Yeah, and there's only, 3 or 4 left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including this one is the 4th one?
15, 16, 17.
Yeah. So,
4? Yep.
Yeah, so it's not like they got to win out, but they definitely need to kick it into playoff gear, or they're going to get ousted the first round.
Well, let's take a look here. NFC North, they're still 2 games ahead of anybody. The Vikings are the closest to them at 7-6. The Packers sit at 6-7, and the Bears at 5-8. So even though they lost to the Bears, I don't think the Bears are going to be a player for that division. Detroit, all you got to do is win. All you got to do is win. You're hosting in this matchup Saturday, 8:15. We talked about the Saturday matchups throughout the last couple of videos. I think I'm going to take the Denver Broncos, Mike. I think I'm going to be the one to do it. I don't know if it's smart, but I think they're the hotter football team in this contest. And the way Russ played last week, Cortland Sutton always amazes with a touchdown. I think PS2 is going to force some issues for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and maybe Goff is going to turn the ball over a couple more times.
You know, I was going to be the one to take the Broncos, and now that you've chosen them,
First of all, hell would have froze over, Mike. It would have been like CM Punk returning to WWE a couple weeks ago. Hell freezing over. So I'm glad I picked first.
I really was going to probably lean towards the Broncos just because of Detroit's play as of late, but I think Detroit knows they pretty much only got to win 1 more game, maybe 2 more, and they lock 2 out of 3. They lock the division.
That's a fair assumption.
So I think they're going to come out, play their hearts out. I think maybe this is a game they find a way, but Russ makes it real hard.
Okay. You think Dan Campbell's going to bite somebody's kneecaps off?
Possibly. Anything can happen. It is any given Sunday.
This has to be one of the first times I've ever seen Aaron select an underdog, but he selected the Denver Broncos this week. So props to you, buddy. I told you to pick an underdog because more than often, it happens, right? Like every week, at least one team that's not supposed to win wins.
Then that means I'm losing since you both teamed up against me this week. So congratulations prematurely.
Let's go against the old man. It's all his fault for the housing market.
It was my parents' fault, not mine at all. I had nothing to do with this.
Conversation for another day, and we'll leave it for another day. We want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you for the Sunday slate. Take it easy.